Ladies and gentlemen, you're rocking with a GOAT. Kenn Dowell giving you motivation for growth. 2 toes down, he keep it realer than most. He do it for the culture, that's always the goal. This is Strategic Moves with Kenn Dowell. This is Strategic Moves with Kenn Dowell.
What's up, everybody? You tuned in to another episode of Strategic Moves. I'm your host, Kenn Dowell. This is a place where we bring art, culture, politics, and business together, and we do it every Sunday right here on this channel. But when I'm not doing this podcast, I am the owner of Strategic Resources Consulting right here in Cleveland, where we specialize in political campaigns, public relations, and government relations. Been doing it right here in Cleveland for over 25 years, and I want to help make your next move a strategic move. This show gives me an opportunity to bring in people that I've met over the years, get a chance for us to sit down, talk about our experiences, and maybe there's something that you can get from it that'll help you in your personal life or your business life. So if this sounds like this a place that you would like to tune in and get that information, what I need you to do is hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well, so that you would know the next time we got another show going on. And today, my guest today is all about culture. We're going to talk a little bit about business, maybe a little bit about relationships. Guess who I got on my show? Guess who? No other than Mr. Sam Sylk. Welcome, Sam Sylk, to the program, y'all.
What's up, Dr. Kenn? How are you?
Everything is everything, sir. We want to thank you for coming on our program today, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out and spending a little time with us today. So, Sam,
Yes,
tell
sir.
me a little bit about you, man. My show is a show where I was telling you, I bring in people from the community and we talk a little bit about what's going on in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And I did my background on you. You're not a native Clevelander. You're from actually Chicago, right?
Outside of Chicago.
Outside of
Yeah.
Chicago, man. So how you end up here in Cleveland?
I was on the radio one day, Saturday afternoon. I got off and got a phone call asking me, was I interested in doing coming to Cleveland and start a new radio station? Yeah, that's how it happened.
So before then, you grew up in Chicago
Grew up in
yourself.
Chicago.
You spent most of your time in Chicago. You got brother, sister, your family down there.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your background, man, in Chicago. We know from what we hear about Chicago is always fine. So I imagine back then it wasn't as bad. Or was it? I don't know.
You just have cameras now.
Really?
You just have iPhones and Androids.
Yeah.
It was always the same. It's a little, they don't respect or have a code anymore. So
Right.
that's one of the biggest problems.
Biggest change, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Chicago was cool, man. Chicago.
School back there was all right, man, growing up. Yeah. You always thought you wanted to get into music or DJing? Or?
Yeah. I mean, well, I didn't know I would do it this far when I first liked it. I used to just, listen to different radio stations and I would mimic what I would hear. And I didn't know that what I was mimicking and I began to do like my own radio station in the basement.
Really?
And having my albums on the walls, Eric B. and Rakim and, all that types, how your albums and
Right.
LL Cool J and the Michael Jacksons and all that stuff on the walls, records on the wall. And I would, take what I would do and give it out to the neighborhood. I was so in it as imagination.
Okay.
That I would take the recorded commercials off the radio.
Really?
And put them on my actual show. So I wanted you to have the real effect that I was on the radio.
Oh, so you was doing DJing in a whole nother way. You wasn't like cutting and scratching and all that.
No, I
was radio.
Yeah, I was radio first, and then I later started mixing and DJing. Yeah.
So what was your first show? What was that all about?
As far as what
Well,
professional?
the one you was talking about in your basement.
Oh, yeah. Me and my guys, man, clowning. Me, Dylan for real, Malik Youssef is a poet and wrote for Kanye and some Beyonce. And yeah, man. And so I would pretend to be like I had a radio show. I put it on Tone Master. I would go to Walgreens.
Okay.
And I would get Tone Master and I would, play my records, talk topics, all that stuff.
Really? And who would you give them to? Like you,
the neighborhood. I was always out in the street. Always, wow. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
DJ the neighborhood house parties. You know.
So then you got into that DJing.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. We came to the party side. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I mean, I mimicked everything. So if we had what we call the Taste of Chicago. So we would put our own little thing together in the hood. I had an imagination.
Okay.
You know, I would, mimic what I would see, and we would do it.
And how did that get you into moving you into the actual DJing booth for the studios? Because I did some reading. You ended up going out west a little bit, right? Wasn't it?
I went out down south.
Down south.
Yeah, Columbus, Mississippi.
Okay, right.
Yeah, first place where I did commercial radio. And but it goes back all the way to KKC, WOUI. Again, when I first got on the air, a friend of mine, Marcella, she hit me up. Like, hey, because she saw what I was doing. I was passing out the tapes. I mean, I even had a little gospel show for the church.
Wow.
Church. So I would, make sure I can hear all the formats.
It's straight true to this.
Yeah. So she said, hey, there's a radio station here. You want to do it? I said, well, I don't go to your school. I got one more year to go. He was like, no, I can get the keys and I'm a student. So then you can have the show because I'm a student. So there you go. So I started, coming up there, horsing around, and I would do a show Wednesday nights. Is my first ever radio show from 9 to midnight. And then it grew into me really liking it to the point I would do a show all day Sunday from 11 a.m. because I would skip church. Well, I do a little Sunday. My mom wanted me to go to Sunday school. So after that, I would leave. Our church was all day long.
Right.
I would leave and go do a radio show until it was time basically for me to pick up my mom's or whatever. So I would be on there from 11 a.m. to like 9 o'clock at night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Spinning records
and talking to people all up and down the low end of Chicago, all in the projects, all in the area, IT, so yeah.
So you've been talking to a lot of people a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the most craziest conversation you done had on the radio? Let's start with the most interesting.
Oh, a lady and a guy who found out that they were I think they was married like 20-something years and they were siblings.
Whoa.
Yeah.
They found that out on the radio?
Well, not on the radio. they called in and they was talking about this when I started this segment called Reality Hour, which we still do. And so they called and shared how they found out they were siblings, man.
Wow.
Wow. Different mom, same dad.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's deep. That's true, deep, right? That'll blow my mind.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So you was doing the radio down there, and now you're getting into it because I imagine back then you wasn't getting paid, right?
No, it was free. It was
free college radio.
Yeah.
So then you moved for that. When did I actually going to move this and make this sort of a career? I'm starting to make a little money at.
Well, I didn't do that for a long time. I pranked the actual radio station. I pranked them. Again, I was so into it that I started getting up in the morning, sneaking because I wasn't a student, sneaking up there, getting the keys and turning the switch on, the transmitter on.
Wow.
And I would do a morning show.
Wow. And
I would call and prank Doug Banks, who later took me under his wing and we became friends. And then my other buddy, Jammin' Dave Michaels, he was on that station.
What was the prank?
Oh, I would just call up, just doing crazy stuff, man. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I would get them. I would
just pretty much harassing.
Yeah, I would call and pretty much do the same thing that they would do.
Okay.
And then one day I called up and then he actually called me back, and I was like, okay, we just connected. And Jammin' Dave, who was on 6 to 10, he came down and sat in with me.
Oh, okay.
He sat in. I mean, I was making some noise.
Okay.
Like that whole low end was they knew who Sam Sylk was. And I was making a name for myself.
Okay.
Because I would go to the parties and the projects. Let me spin your party. What's up? You know what I'm saying? I would even do remotes. Show up somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I had mixed, my DJ buddies would come up and mix.
Wow.
But yeah, so Jammin' Dave, take it. Why don't you go ahead and do this? Why don't you try to get a job, man? You can do this. I said, oh, yeah, man, you can do this, man. You might, So then I went to Columbia School of Broadcasting.
Okay.
I did that. And
is that in Chicago?
That was Chicago, yeah.
Okay.
And then I went to Kennedy King College. Now, Kennedy King College, they actually had a curriculum for this. You know what I'm saying? So, They had the studios, they had the classes.
Okay.
This is when you got to go ahead and, and do your due. You know what I'm saying? So, and from there, I said, well, let me do it. So I sat in the library. I would leave after class and go to the library. There was a book that had every radio station in the country, every radio station, every format, every program director.
Wow.
And I copied it.
Really?
Sat there for hours writing down who to call.
Wow.
Back then was no such thing as unlimited calling. So you knew how much my phone bill was.
Oh yeah.
So I would take the demos and mail them out everywhere and then call everybody with my resume, picture of myself, and cassette.
Wow.
That's what we did to see, who's looking for, a radio personality. I ended up in Columbus, Mississippi.
Wow.
Yeah, in a trailer. Radio station was in the trailer home.
So you remember that? How long ago was that?
It had to be like 93.
93?
Yeah, it had to be like 1993, 94. 94.
And so they offered you a job. You was in Chicago. Was it enough to really make you want to move, or you just love that craft?
Of course not. I was making like $600 and I want to say $40.
Really?
Dollars a month.
A month?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep.
Well, how was you living down there like that?
Man, God. And me hustling.
And just, the hustle was real. So,
I picked up, I found, it wasn't easy. I slept in my car for a few days because I couldn't find a place. I mean, I didn't really have no bread on me. I left with like $275.
You drove?
And I drove from Chicago to Columbus, Mississippi.
Okay.
I had a rider who I met. I only knew him for about a couple of weeks. And he needed a ride to Memphis.
Okay.
And then I was like, you drive to Memphis, you go on this gas, you can go. And then I dropped him off, and then I kept on going to go get to Columbus. So, yeah, I went, and then I started, in order to supplement my income, what did I do? I went back to what I did in Chicago. I said, well, let me go find out where I could spin some records. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go on here, I'm going to kick ass on the radio, then I'm going to make some noise, I'm going to find out what's what. There's Army base down there, so so city boy down in the country town, which was fun. It was different.
Right. How long did you stay at that station?
Hardly no time.
Really?
Had to get up out of there. Yeah, but I stayed down there for maybe 9 months, a year.
Oh, okay. You really got up out of there.
Yeah. And then I got a job, came back, and then I got a job in Arkansas.
That's what I was reading about. That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, West Helena, Arkansas.
Okay.
That was my second gig. Right. I was a morning guy and I was a program director.
Right. That's what I was reading.
Yeah, and that was a country town. And that radio station was in the owner of the station was an attorney, and he owned a gas station, convenience store, law office, and I want to say a liquor store all in one building.
He was everything all in one.
Everything. First time I ever saw black men.
Wow.
In the back of a pickup truck at 5 o'clock in the morning going to pick cotton.
Ooh.
That blew my mind. I was like, what the hell is you boys doing in the back of that truck, and the white man's driving it? Where y'all going?
They're picking cotton.
Picking cotton. That was in 90, and that was the 90s.
Wow.
That was the 90s, man. That was the early 90s. Wow.
And it wasn't no black folks down there in Arkansas.
Oh, hell, oh yeah.
It's black folks down there.
Yeah, because I have family. What's the other side of Arkansas, right by Memphis? Turl, Arkansas. That's right off of the freeway, but the interstate. But yeah, so Forest was a Forest City, Arkansas.
Okay.
And so yeah, I stayed down there and left there.
Okay.
And went to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Now, Oklahoma, you staying out in the state. Ain't nothing in Oklahoma, is there?
Man, not a lot of us, but Oklahoma was a good experience, man. It was totally different. Again, you're looking at a guy coming from, city buses, subways, and loud and sirens all day long. And here I am in the country, you know what I'm saying? Or down south, you know what I'm saying?
So you down there playing country music?
No.
And that's why I should ask. No. Yeah. So they
it's R&B.
This is R&B.
Yeah.
Wow.
R&B. Blues is big down there.
Blues.
Huge.
Okay. Yeah, man.
That was the first time I went when I was in Arkansas. I mean, when I was in Tulsa, that was the first time I ever saw black cowboys. Black rodeo.
Real, yeah,
great
experience. Real cowboy.
Real cowboys,
real
not
cowboys,
no playing.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I didn't see him on there, the real cowboys.
Yes, yeah.
And they got the sisters down there that's real about it too. I done seen on there too, man. That cowboy stuff is real down there.
Yep.
Oh, so from there, was that when you came to Cleveland?
No. I left there and went back home. Okay. I got fired at this radio station. I worked at 2 radio stations down there.
Oh.
So again, I mean, like you said, I wasn't making money. I was making $200 a week.
Wow.
At that station. The other station, I think they paid me $100 more a week.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's loving what you're doing.
You got to in order to do that, right?
You got to, man. And a lot of people don't even understand that, man. Yeah. It seems like today's generation want to walk out the door making it, man, and they don't even work as hard. It is something, like you say, to sit there and actually have to go through a book, like you're saying, literally. It wasn't like you could copy it down, take a picture of it, none of that. You literally had to write that down, send a cassette tape in the mail, and wait on a response for somebody to open it up and look at it and actually pop your tape in. Yeah. That's really, really deep.
I got up every morning, early in the morning, to the time I felt like they opened up. So, okay, it's like 8:30. They should be open.
Right.
So I was like, and shouts out to Gerald Jackson, the first program director, to give me, to go ahead and give me that shot. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Went down there and they was trying to repo my car. Imagine that. You down here, you got a child.
Right. Okay, I forgot.
$640 a month.
Right.
So I don't want to hear nobody talking about, don't give me no excuses. You can figure out something.
I've been in business 25 years and, it's been off and on.
Yeah.
And I was telling my son when he was playing football, I remember I paid the guy $100 an hour to teach him how to throw a football, running him around to all of that. And I thought, I was like, I don't believe my dumb ass even did that.
Right.
But here goes the worst part about it. I was doing that, man, and I didn't really have no steady work or anything coming in.
Yeah.
He was going maybe once or twice a week. I mean, a month, not missing, you know what I mean? And everything else was going. And I told him, because he's older now, I said, man, I don't even remember how I paid. I can remember I was broke.
Right.
I can tell you. I can remember driving you out there like, man, I don't believe I'm doing this.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know how we paid for that mess. But I said, but you do what you need to do to get it done, as parents and as good fathers. Let me ask you a question, man. What's your definition of a man these days, man? Everybody got these definitions and everything. What's your idea when somebody asks you what a man should be? What do you think?
What a man should be?
What a man should be. Your definition of what a man should be.
You're looking at 2. A hard worker, what I'm saying? A man takes care, his family. He tries to be the best that he can be. He's not perfect. He tries to be. I want to say try. He works towards perfection. And you do your best to serve, what I'm saying, to look out for, the community. Same thing that when you was a young man, that somebody did for you. You know what I'm saying? But man should be, a leader, what I'm saying, if that's in him. You know what I'm saying? If that's in him, you gotta lead your family, if you're the big brother, you know what I'm saying? If you're the younger brother, you can still, have something for the big brother, for your big sister, So it's just, you got, play your role, man. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing, play your role.
Yeah.
A lot of people ain't into playing their roles these days. And I think that's why, things are sort of screwed up out here, man.
Yeah.
So let me ask you then, from that experience of getting that and coming here to Cleveland, so I get you here to Cleveland, where you at, your first job here at Cleveland, you was on 107.9?
Yeah. One of the first DJs on the station.
And what was that like coming here? Because you said it was a brand new station. That was it?
Yeah, it was brand new.
Because you've been here so long, man. When you said that, I thought about it. I was like, damn, I remember it. Right.
Yeah.
I forgot, man. It seems like it's always been around. But
right. You all wasn't used to, you all didn't have a all hip hop station all day long.
No.
And not just here, around the country. around the United States, that wasn't the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody had what we call WZAK is.
Mm-hmm.
And we just played a lot of R&B. Then we played a song here and there of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And we day partied music. That's what they used to do. So when hip hop came along, the hip hop stations, they were just popping up in different cities, Philadelphia, you know, Chicago, of course, New York, number one, Atlanta, when Hot 107 was in the Hot 97.5 back then. But yeah, so coming here and pissing off the rock folks.
Okay.
So 107.9 was the end. That was the rock station.
Okay.
And boy, were they upset.
Really?
You guys sitting up there playing just playing that Negro music. You know, and so they were upset.
Well, because you know that's when hip hop was coming out, man, and hip hop was kind of wild. Well, you know, it ain't nowhere near as wild as it is now, but back then everybody thought it was wild. You know, I was one of those kids who was riding around with that NWA and all of that blasting that stuff, man, when it first came out. Parents and turn that shit out, listening to that craziness, and now, you know, I be like, wow. Even now that I got older, I listened to it. I call myself flashing back, and I threw in the NWA. I went back to the Dope Man CD, man.
Yeah.
I call myself really flashing back one of my days, feeling good. Let me put it on.
Right.
I couldn't really get through it, man. You know, I had it blasted in the house, the kids. I got 3 girls, you know, and I'm really trying to get through it, man. I just couldn't get through it.
And
man.
so when you say that, I laugh how people say the music, as far as the lyrics, are bogus. No. This ain't new. It was like that back then when it started.
When it started.
You know what I'm saying? The only difference is the radio had more of a responsibility, and they just didn't play it on the radio. Or if they played it, they edited.
Correct.
Now,
right.
You know, it's barely editing. And you know, if you can figure out what they're saying, they're saying it. It's just to a different beat.
You know, and you're right. If they edit it, because they get closer. I done heard some stuff come off the radio, be like, "Ooh, did they catch that?" You know, and that kind of thing. So it's a lot. You had a more of a conscious of what kids would hear. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, it's a song I hear now. I know you on your period, but can you suck it? I'm like,
really?
They play that version during the day.
Wow.
In some cities.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
Back in the day, that's not gonna make it at all.
At all. Right.
And if you do is you don't hear, you know, even though people know what is said because they got the song themselves.
Right.
So yeah, but we came in, man. We had a ball, man. We came in. It was exciting to be part of the beginning of something. You know, we made history. You know what I'm saying? We came in. We you know, the ratings were off the meter. We were doing events, and you know, the station made the noise that it needed to make.
So what happened?
What you mean?
Why is that change? It seemed like it's, or are you saying it's still doing it different?
Yeah, it does it towards, you know, that demo to those. I mean, radio's still popping. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's another format that, I mean, all the genres are taken care of. So I mean, it was a void during that time.
I got what you're saying.
Around the country where hip hop wasn't on radio stations.
Got you.
You know, like that all day long.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So and here we are, and you have so many artists now that benefited for what happened back then, that the groundwork that was laid, and which is a beautiful thing.
Where do you see the future of radio going?
Still to be there. You know, that question has always, I think radio needs to, and radio has, it's because what they used to tell us, you know, no one wants to hear you talking. I'm like, that's a lie.
No, that's a lie.
That's bull. And they see that. And it's in the proof is in it now. Radio stations are now doing what we're doing now, which is called podcasting.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? People want to hear talk. They do. They just want you to be able to talk about something that matters, and you have to know how to deliver it in a way that is entertaining and that you embrace it with the lifestyle of the music that you play. If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
So how come radio stations like 93 or 107.9, the black station I would get to. How come they don't get more into the talk radio? Why I would say on the FM side, why they spend them mainly on the AM side where it seem like you get less listeners or they don't kind of promote it as much?
Because there's some truth to what I mentioned earlier. There's some truth to people don't want to hear that. And when it comes to making money, you have to entertain. And it has to be engaged into a way that you can be able to show your ratings and go to the advertising agencies and say, hey, look, here's a rating. You can't just open the mic and just be talking and then, you know what I'm saying? People turn it off when they even hear music they don't want to hear.
That's correct.
So you have to make sure that you're talking about what it is that listener wants to talk about, and you're playing the right songs that listener wants to hear, and you have to do it in a way that people don't have that much time in a car. So most people listen to the radio in a car nowadays.
That's correct.
Not like it was when we were coming up, where the radio was on in the house all day. That's not like that anymore. That makes sense?
No, that's
so you get more of a conversation in the morning than you might get later on. Now it's better than what it used to be. Does that make sense?
No, because I understand from a business. When we place ads with you guys, exactly. I know exactly.
You want to what are the ratings? I don't want to spend all that money and no ratings.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So I think that that's just something that sometimes people just don't understand. I mean, it's not there, but you ask the right question so they can know. This is the reason why.
Well, it was like for lovers only.
Yeah.
Used to be a time where that was the thing. You could turn on at 9 o'clock, you was with your girl or whatever. You knew, bam. Set the tone, set the mood.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
This is coming on. And like you say, you go in the house, boom. But now technology and everything changes, all of that.
Yeah, everything is on demand. So radio has adapted and changed with the times, and that's what keeps it going. That's what keeps it fresh. Is that you have to. I'm not doing radio like I did back then. I'm doing some of it, but you have to involve with what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And so when a combination of you playing hit records, you giving a conversation that the listener wants to hear, you have an opportunity to do two things: to engage them and to inform them. When you engage them, all you're doing is talking about something that they want to talk about. They're just not on the microphone.
Correct. Got you.
You know what I'm saying? And of course, give them some tickets.
And that's always help.
Let them win. Let them go to Beyonce.
They got to win something.
That's right.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Do you think that there's the way hip hop is going? Because you from my era of that and coming up through that. It's we talked about that in the lyrics and everything, and things change. So I'm not so old in the fact that I say, oh no, y'all just. But I do believe y'all tearing up hip hop. But the one thing I do is the women, man. I think the factor that we talked about was that the girls wasn't as raunchy with their stuff as the guys were back then. And I don't know if it's a thing that's saying one is right than the other, but it seemed like it's changing the dynamic of how that whole thing goes, which makes it kind of. To me, which is the biggest part of hip hop, I think, that's changing. I like some of the stuff. They talented as hell. It's just that there's no filter, man. They'll say whatever. And I guess that's just the way hip hop is done evolved.
All right. So, I like to think, right? We came up on some of the most disrespectful artists. Too Short, not just our age.
Yeah, Too Short.
But our kids' age use the same word.
Right.
And they know the song.
Right.
Am I right?
Right, that's correct.
And so all the stuff that NWA talking about, she did this, she did that, she swallowed it, all that type of stuff, right? So all this disrespectful. No, guess what? She did. That was their reality. And there's some women who have their reality of their sexuality, and they want to rap about it. And now they have the freedom to do so. How come he can say that and put it in a way of demeanor to make her feel less? When she can rap and say something about her body, what she want to do with her body, how she wants to do her body. If they can do it, the guys can do it. So can the ladies do it. Now, there's some females who don't like that, but there's some females who do like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody got a wop. Everybody want to talk about what they do with their body. You know what I'm saying? So I say, don't trip on the guys saying what they say. because the women can say what they say, and the guys can't trip on the women saying what they say because everybody say what they want to say. You just have to be, if that's what you into, that's what you into.
But we went through a state of where women actually took the words and some of the lyrics and stuff that some of the men were saying and mounted campaigns on the fact that you calling us bitches, hoes, you're saying this, you're doing that. And again, going back to what you say, their reality is that. And they said that, you demeaning women and this and that. And so all I'm saying is, in the same token, we're saying that, and we have women that's,
I get it. I understand exactly what you're saying.
That's it.
But you know what I'm saying? But it proves the point why they were saying and doing what they was doing.
I guess you got a point. Okay.
So that's all I'm saying. I like Queen Latifah.
Right.
Queen Latifah didn't have to say that.
Right.
In order to get a hit record.
Right.
In order to be who she is today.
Right.
Salt and Pepper.
Right.
Didn't have to do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It started happening with who?
Trina. That was my girl.
Yeah. Lily Kim. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was a market for it. It just wasn't accepted.
It wasn't accepted. And things are just changing. I mean, it's like what you're saying, what's being more accepted.
Yeah.
I mean, what's going on. And it's just the way things are changing, but some of the work of this hip hop, it's just, I guess, I'm just not into it.
Yeah, because we did some protecting. We had a filter. Yeah. And so what happens is now you have the 5-year-old girls want to be like Cardi B. They twerking like Nicki.
Right.
So that would be a question to me upon, again, going back to parenting. Remember what I said earlier, radio back then, everybody played a role to say I'm going to be a father here. I don't want that song to play like we need to edit that out.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Now, that guy, that mother, you consider the bad person for not letting people express their freedom. You see how crazy things are now?
Right. No, that's what I'm saying.
And, or what they like.
Or what they like. Right.
Remember you would turn the radio off on certain songs?
Correct.
And let's not even say the radio. Remember this? Hey, it's grown people talking.
Right.
Get back there.
Right.
That don't happen no more.
Well, I'll tell you this, and I will be honest and go full disclosure. I ain't that I got even a problem with what they saying, because some of their music is, like I said, it's pretty good. I listen to it. I just be like, when they get to the part, like, whoa, they actually, it's just like, wow, no filter on these, But the music itself is pretty decent. I ain't into this mumble rapping and some of this other stuff that's going on.
I don't even know what the hell they saying.
I don't even know what the hell they saying, but I'm just surprised, I guess, is more where I'm at, that the ladies are just like, really, Lil Kim had a filter compared to some of the stuff that these girls are coming out with. And I'm like, Jesus, but it sells records, it does it. Hey, what's up? We're going to get right back to Sam Sylk. But before we do that, I wanted to take this moment for you to be able to subscribe to our channel. Leave us a comment below to let us know how we're doing. Or if you think there's somebody we would like to have on the show or a topic we should talk about, leave it in the comment and we'll get right on it. See, it's just that simple. And now we'll get right back to Sam Sylk. So let's talk more about you, because you wrote a book and you started this thing on your program about relationships and all of that. What made you want to be the relationship guy, man?
Well, I'm not the relationship guy. It's just, that's what people like to talk about. I don't it was before me, it happened after me. Relationships.
So how did it start off? I mean, how did it start out? You had that idea you wanted to do it on the radio one day?
I just see a lot of stuff. It just kind of happens. I never really, said that's what I was going to do. It kind of just came together. I like to talk to folks when I'm on the air. I was the guy that program directors called and said, "You're talking too much," and I'm like, "But the listeners are the ones that's talking."
Right.
So obviously, they, so they would talk about their relationships. They would talk about different things, and so it came out of basically doing topics, and then it turns into that, and so we came up with a segment. What I'm saying? So we started doing Reality Hour, which was first. We still do that now, where it's not just about man and woman, but people are always got stuff with relationships all the time. They know the answer,
right?
They really do. They just don't want to. They don't want to admit it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the time where we let people tell their story, and I give my perspective, and then I let the audience give theirs too.
What's the worst male perspective story you heard from a brother?
The first male perspective? What do you mean?
Brother, like a guy who was either getting done wrong or he did something really wrong. You think that this guy's just really bad, or you think, well, you know what? I'll make it easier.
Yeah.
What's the most common things that most of the people calling in when it comes down to relationships?
So a lot of times, and I talked about this today, sometimes guys are not trying to trick you. They tell you, you don't pay attention to the red flags.
Okay.
Even not guys, even just women and people in general. People ignore the red flags, and then they get all wrapped up, and then they wonder why they are where they are, because they passed it up and wanted to go ahead and get to where they was going. And they wanted to hit it. They want to see whatever, and so then now they're emotionally all jacked up.
Correct.
A guy today, a woman today said, we read a letter. This letter went viral. A TikToker. She said that her dude, they've been together for a year. When they first got together, he says, I don't want you to post me on social media. I don't want to post us on social media until we get engaged. So she said, okay, I'll post, but she posted him on hers.
Okay.
So she found out he was with somebody, he was seeing somebody else. And so everybody was coming down on him, beating him up. I said, he ain't do nothing wrong. I said, depending on what's your definition of together. I said, he told you, unless we get engaged. So in his mind, that means I can see who I want to see. One, possibly. Or I just don't want to be out there like that.
Right.
And until we get engaged, here comes a question for you. What do you mean get engaged? We just started seeing each other, what you should have just said.
Correct.
So you automatically thought that you probably was going to get engaged one day.
You went straight to marriage.
Right. He said that, you accepted that. So that's why you felt like it was okay to post a picture, but there was really a red flag that he was telling you, and you didn't pay attention to it.
That was a red flag.
Yeah.
He said, don't put me on your social media. That's what he said.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And you never even asked why.
Until we get engaged.
Until we get engaged? What that means?
Some people some people think they're single until they get married. Some people think they're single until they get engaged. Some people think, you know what I'm saying? So that it was her fault. You didn't ask the question. Who am I? What am I? What is this? And some people don't want to be on social media when it comes to relationships. Like, why? For what?
Right.
Majority of what you see on with these people posting on is fake. It's fake.
Oh, most of
relationship stuff fake.
Oh, all that stuff fake.
Who got the time to do all that?
Yeah, all that stuff is fake, man. All of it, man, from the makeup, everything, and even on the guy's side, standing next to a car, all of that shit. It's fake. It's all fake, man.
Right.
Who you think is getting the worst deal out of here, men or the women, in these relationships?
Men are automatically have to be up to something. If a marriage is over, it had to be the guy's fault. So I said this before, right? A woman can leave whenever she wants. The pressure's too much. She has no business being there. Girl, you shouldn't sit up in that marriage. That's terrible. Ooh, he did. Ooh, that's terrible. Or she's just tired. She's stressed out. She can do that. A man can leave for the same reasons.
Correct.
You're no good.
No good.
You know what I'm saying? A woman could say that postpartum.
Right.
Here's another good one. A woman, I said this at relationship hour. The whole room got quiet. A woman has the right to choose, correct?
Correct.
She can go get an abortion whenever she wants to. You are not supposed to question why. I'm not talking about rape. She just don't want a kid.
That's correct.
She got a future. She got whatever her reason is.
Correct.
You can't judge that, right?
That's correct.
A man could not want a child for the same reason. First thing they say to the man is, well, you laid down with her. Well, she did too.
That's correct.
A man doesn't have that option. If a woman goes and have an abortion, she can never go back and get the kid. But a man is considered a deadbeat if he doesn't pay child support in the kid's life. Now, the thing about that is he can turn and get better and say, you know what? I was horrible. That was terrible. I want to be in this kid's life now. And yet he has to fight in order to be able to see his kid. That's not logical.
That's correct.
You know what I'm saying? If we want to be fair.
Right.
So why should he go to jail?
Correct.
Get locked up.
Lose his license.
And you have the choice. That's not fair.
Well, that's why I believe, and to your point, that women has to take the responsibility in that.
That you had a baby with a loser.
And just like men, we take the responsibility of understanding that we could possibly get this loser we messing with pregnant.
Because you went in there wrong.
Because you went in there wrong.
You know what the consequences,
right,
man. Don't act like you got tricked.
Exactly. You didn't get tricked. and here goes the thing. Most men, most guys, don't go into having sex or anything with a woman in the thought of her having a baby. It's only just to have sex. Where a woman who can possibly get pregnant has to always be thinking that I'm going in there and there's this possibility that I could get pregnant, which means that you can. So the burden of responsibility is definitely be much more on your end than it would be on his. Just like it's really simple. Like they said, if men can have baby, we'd probably be a very low population of people walking around this boy. And men, you probably would be even still here, you know, because and not because we logical or anything. It's just because it just don't make sense.
Right. And to answer your question, it also, again, I'm answering on the guys. Yeah, I'm a man. So but you also got to look at whatever individual that, again, I think is an individual thing. So some women might feel different. We get the bad end we get the worst end of the stick because you heard it back in the day. Y'all can just go on and move on. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on the person.
Depends on the person. And it was a time where contraception and all of that wasn't there. So there was a time where men can actually do exactly that. And walk away.
And how you gonna how dare you though? Let's be real. Know that you have a human that looks like you and you act like you don't know him or her. You asked me the question about what is a man? And a man is not a man who can go around and make damn babies. A man is a man who can take care and raise that child.
Take care and raise it, right.
You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what hell she's giving you to. That's still your child. You keep going and do your best. You know what I'm saying? But you walk around, you got kid look just like you.
Right.
In the same city.
Right.
Same neighborhood.
Right.
You really think that's okay. And what really irks me is when women know that he's a deadbeat. You ain't seen none of his damn kids that he has, but he up here with yours.
Right.
Like he ain't gonna do the same thing to you that he did to the other two.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, that irks me.
That's that responsibility piece.
Right.
You was dating this dude.
Right.
All right. And you knew the whole time you was dating, he never talked about his kids. He never had no pictures of his kids in his wallet. You went over to his kid.
If a man has to start off a conversation, you just meet him with dating about his baby mama, his kid's mama.
Right.
That's a red flag.
It's a red flag. That's definitely a red flag. And if he tells you, do not put me on your social media.
Well, I don't know. That's a good one. Some men and women don't like being on social media.
Well, he's telling you that I'm private, so you just need to dig a little deep. What's that answer all about? It could be I don't want to be on it.
I don't know.
I don't want to be on it.
I know some women, a few, not a lot, a few. They not on. They don't have an Instagram or Facebook.
No, I know a lot of them who don't.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I just said dig a little deeper. Just ask the question why. It won't hurt.
A warrant.
A warrant, at least. So what made you write the book? And the book is out because I want to make sure people get a chance. The book, they can get it on Amazon. Where you get the book at?
Go to Amazon.
And what's the name of the book?
Is it them? Is it me? So I wrote that particular book because are you in this because you let it happen? People play the blame game. But I wrote the book so you can look at yourself. That's why I say have a section in there with red flags.
Gotcha.
How we talk about the social media.
Okay.
Like, there are different signs. You know what I'm saying? Is it them? Is it me? Who is it? Why do you keep meeting the same type of person?
Wow.
Or dating the same type of person?
Take a look at yourself.
Look at yourself and see. It could have been me all this time. You know what I'm saying? That you never took the time to heal from that relationship. Now you carrying all those soul ties to the next. And you're not even ready to start anything new because you don't even know yourself.
That's correct.
You keep picking all the stuff you don't like. See, those familiar spirits, okay? They are out there moving around, and then you get attracted to it because you find out that you need to get rid of something that was in you. So you got something in you that you need to get out. And what happens is that same spirit, you attract it, and and y'all meet up somewhere, and you ain't got it out. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's true.
That's true. Even the hurt, you have it's not done. So what happens is you got some bold ones. Oh, there she is. There he is. Let me go over there and connect.
And that spirit of connection is there because that's how you meet somebody for the first time. Be like, well, how did me and this person connecting like that? And you might say, okay, it's cool the first time, but there are, like you say, spiritual connections that naturally come. And if you ain't strong enough, you get sucked into all of that.
Yeah, you get that, man. So you got to really look at yourself and see and say, hey, why do I keep dating drug dealers? You know what I'm saying? Why do I keep dating strippers? I'm not saying nothing wrong with the strippers. I ain't gonna say no wrong because you can find a good wife with a stripper. Yeah. Some of y'all don't want to, but you can. Well, whatever it may be. Why do I keep meeting this guy like this, meeting this woman like that?
Right. Yeah. Change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So the book you wrote and you got it out on Amazon. People can get it out on Amazon and get it. You have that relationship hour that you have on. It's not an hour that you do on your radio program.
We do it at Sylk's every Tuesday.
Okay.
So on Tuesday is an open forum.
So that's where I was going to get to. Right. So Sylk's is where you do it. And so I want to go into that because now we talked about your radio. You're doing very well at radio. That's what we know you for. But I want to talk to you about your entrepreneurship because that's part of it. My kids so silly. They knew you was coming up there. They kept saying, "Is he bringing some chicken? Is he bringing some chicken?"
That's where I'm headed when I leave.
We live in Cleveland Heights, so we go to your one over on Mayfield.
Okay.
Yeah, Mayfield store over there. So when you open up and all that, we go to that one. So be an entrepreneur. Now you was in this radio thing, and what made you go from radio to chicken? Now I know there's a lot of other avenues and other stuff. What made you say, I want to do the chicken and waffle, the restaurant type thing? Because that's a hard business itself, man. That's
very hard.
That's a very hard business, man.
First of all, I want to give a shout out to anybody who's an entrepreneur because you have to be crazy.
Yeah.
And you have to have some crazy faith. And you have to. Again, with me, different things, me doing radio, I didn't know at the time. Sometimes, a lot of times, I'm gonna say sometimes, God puts things out in the universe, right? And for his people. And it's whoever grab it. You know what I'm saying? And you make a move on it. You know what I'm saying? He's doing it right now. And it's whoever grab or jump on it, right? And so I worked at a catering company. I've done a lot of endorsements for different restaurants. I enjoy working at the catering company too. Served Michael Jordan. That was funny. He tipped us at the Western Open. But I've always, I like to serve and I like to see people happy.
Okay.
And so man, it just clicked. One day we was doing a bit on the radio in GCI, and there was a thing called Pass the Chicken. And I used to say in talking, sometimes we say things and we don't know what we're saying, bad or good.
Okay.
I used to say one day, Mike, what if I got a restaurant? Just joking. Just saying something. You know what I'm saying? And we did what we called a bit. It's called Pass the Chicken. And even said the entertainer jumped in on the bit. It became so huge.
Wow.
That people used to call us to ask us, play that again.
Okay.
And it was me it was like a gospel piece, Pass the Chicken, where we had the choir singing, and then we did like a little mini sermon, and then listeners would call up and say, I want to do Pass the Chicken. They would sing it. And I was like, man, what happened one day, I would do that. And so one day I was like, well, why not? Always been about, we doing these stories and whatnot on the air, and you hear about stuff in the community. I was like, well, how come we don't own a lot of these places in our community? We could develop and bring some jobs, help mentor kids, because you really can do that while you're doing that. is more than just having a restaurant. Is businesses, especially Black businesses in our community, they're the staple.
That's correct.
Backbone.
That's correct.
You know what I'm saying? To employing folks, employing our youth, and one day it just hit me. You know what I'm saying? And it wouldn't leave me. You know what I'm saying? And so I said, wow, why not?
Right.
And it went from there.
So we got to give our little entrepreneurs little nuggets and stuff like that as we go on this. I try to help them. So let's walk them through maybe the first one. The first store you bought, which one was it?
So I give you this one real quick. The first one I had that I did was I did it in Chicago.
Oh, so it wasn't your first time at the restaurant?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I did it there before I came back to Cleveland.
Oh, okay. So you had some experience in what you were doing already. Okay.
Yeah. I had some experience. I say every year you get some. Every day I get some experience. Right. And so I wasn't going to do it. I was like, I'm not going to do it. Like you said, it's a hard business. I'm not going to do it. And then I got it and it wouldn't leave me alone. I was like, something just like it just hit me again. I was like, oh man. So I went on and I did it. And which is on Lee Road.
Right. I remember that one.
I'm headed there when I leave.
Okay. Okay.
And so that was the first one, the first of the Sam Soup Chicken and Fish.
So you went in there, you had to buy all new equipment and everything. You had to start from the ground up with that, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. I went and got used equipment. And the equipment I had in Chicago, I brought it on up here. I put it in the storage and I brought it on up this way. Okay. Then I added on and bought what I needed. But buying that equipment and getting this and that, because again, you still learn. The first store I learned something, second store I learned something, third store I learned something.
So you literally was in the store yourself doing this, because did you have partners with you going in, or employees, or?
Yeah, it was me, my wife, Sean, God brother, been knowing him for years.
Okay.
Godson, buddy. They, see, God will put people, places, and put things together when, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what, so they came up, it's like, man, I want to come up on it. I want to help you get started. I said, well, come on in. And so we didn't have no staff like that.
Right.
It was literally, you know what I'm saying, 2 or 3. And I met a buddy who's been there since I opened. He came. He was like, yeah, we met in the kitchen, because again, I like the kitchen. I like the restaurant. That's where we met at. And so he came on board and he believed in me. I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Because it's amazing how you when you get these great ideas, there's some things you don't think about how I'm going to get this or get that. Right. You're just so hungry.
That's correct.
That and you just believe it's gonna fall in place.
It's just gonna fall in place, right? And you know what? I got this saying. I say, and my wife even adapted it. I always say, especially when we get in, I say it's gonna work out, because it always do.
Yeah,
because it always do.
No,
it always do. No matter. And I know, to the young folks out there who listening, it seems like it don't. And a lot of times it don't. But as you get older and those same problems come around, you'll find out it always works out. It always do. And that's one of the things, like you say. So you with that and knowing that gives you that inspiration to just keep moving forward, because it's going to work out.
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. You're going to have, and even now, I mean, next year, I mean, here's something I give everybody. You're going to always have a challenge.
Correct.
As long as you're living, it's going to be something that's going to come up. Once you know that, I think you'll be better.
Yeah,
you'll do better.
Yes,
because you accept reality.
You accept it. Right.
I don't know what that challenge may be.
Right.
But I know one's coming.
It's coming.
And then you have to get to the point that you have to laugh at one, because I didn't see that one coming.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or some of you be like,
oh, that wasn't even that bad.
That was because what you may think is bad at this time.
Exactly.
Wait till God pull you out of it.
Right.
And you was like, wow, I was tripping over that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Story of my life. I've been through so many of those, man. It's pathetic.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Yep.
How did you know it was time to open up another store?
Good question. It was, again, I had the same like fire, you know, and I knew that in order to make this one what I needed another one. And there was a demand for it on another side of town. Those folks didn't want to, when we first opened, everybody was driving from way over here, coming from over there to come right here.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, that means that we need to probably get to where there's a need in that area. And so I said, okay, you know, and I kept driving back and forth Mayfield all the time. Would see it, even called, wasn't available. But he locked my eyes on that building.
Okay. Right.
And so he just locked, you know, he just locked me in on it. You know what I'm saying? And so
I know how you mean by that. I had those,
and even though
you already saw your name on it and everything.
It was unavailable. Unavailable.
Yeah, you saw everything there. It was just waiting on you to move in.
Unavailable.
Yeah.
You know, and it became available when it was supposed to.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know, and to the holder of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, so yeah, and so, you know, you look at it, and so what you have to do is again, you can't listen to everybody. Because if you keep listening to too many people, you'll become schizophrenic. You'll start second guessing. You'll start, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, making this decision, that decision. So you do want to surround yourself around people who care, but you also got to ask God to give you the ear to hear when it is the right thing from somebody and when it is just, and sometimes people don't mean well, they just talking. Right. They don't understand it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know,
that's a very hard part to be at when you're the owner of a business.
Yeah.
It's like a fog.
Yeah.
You walk around in, because it's sort of like you see it, but nobody else see it.
Right.
And you taking in information from everybody who don't see it, and you don't want to argue with them because they don't see it like you see it. You know, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
You let them have, I let them have their moment.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? You know, you know, every now and then I'll say something,
right,
you know, to you know, because you know, I'm a talking and I can't hold my tongue sometimes.
Exactly.
I learned when to now better. But yeah, man, I mean, because, you know, it's a lot, you know, and I encourage everybody, no matter what you do, especially when we're moving in our community, because when you put a business in your community, it's a lot that you don't know.
Correct.
That's going on in that community. What do I mean by that? Glad you asked. The different things that people live with day to day, and those challenges that they go through.
Okay.
And some of the disparities in our communities, and think if you're making sense here. And so
that's part of the community, and the business is part of the community.
And so those businesses are there. And that's why I said that comes a point in time where, you know, that's your mentoring. That's the way you give back in many different type of ways.
That's correct.
You know what I'm saying? I always tell folks this. I gotta hit this one. You can definitely blast this one. When I hear people say, I try to give Black business a chance, we have to learn how to believe in ourselves. Okay. When you say you try to give a Black business a chance because they messed up, you know, we hear that they messed up.
Right.
We hear that all the time.
Right.
Black business represents the people they hire as the people in the community.
Correct.
It's us.
Correct.
It's not a business that came and said, I'm the business and I'm Black.
Right.
No, if it's Black and we employ people in that community, that's who we employ. That's us.
That's us.
That's Jesse down the street. That's Susan over there.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? Understand that other folk mess up too.
That's correct.
You don't hear white folks say, I'm trying to give white folks a chance.
No.
You never hear an Arabic move into a Black spot and say, I'm trying to give my Arabic people a chance. You never hear that.
Right.
So when Black business come into those communities, we have to make sure that, I always keep bringing up the word mentor, because you are being a part of raising somebody's child or being a sister.
Correct.
Or being a big brother. We have to learn how to galvanize and come together. Does that make sense?
It is. It's community building, and so part of that challenge, and I think why we haven't had as many is that. Yeah, because if you move into the inner city of Cleveland, it's the challenge of that community that helps dictate your business.
You said you hit it right on the
head. And I got a partner of mine who owns Arab gas stations. He owns about 100 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons why Arab gas stations stay open 24 hours.
Say it.
Is because they say they can't close because the insurance companies won't pay them if they close their business and somebody break into their and steal something.
When I heard that, man, I didn't believe that.
I didn't believe it either. That's why, and people have issues, and that's part of what you're saying. The community, people have issues with all the business over there doing blah blah blah, and all this is going on, but they can't close. They love to close.
Have some rest.
Have some rest. Don't have to pay somebody to be there because you know you're not making no real money at 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And who the fuck going? I mean, excuse me, who's going through that store at that time of the morning? Ain't nobody. So that's the point that we make. So when you say that, being a part of the community is different. It's different being a part of that community than when you opened your store up on Mayfield. South Euclid, Cleveland Heights, and them, they support their businesses totally different than you would when you probably even in Maple Heights or any of the other places. Everybody is different. What's up? You gonna open up more store? Oh, no, before we get into that, I want to talk about what you got going on tonight. You got your podcast that you got going on, and I saw that.
Relationship Hour. You can watch that on YouTube.
And that's at your club. Which one is that?
In Maple Heights.
That's the Maple Heights one.
Yeah. Okay. 21300 Libby Road. We do that there on Tuesdays. And it's a great conversation. It's nice forum. Folks can get up, they get on the mic and they can respond. And we answer the questions of the audience. The audience, their topics. So I don't know what they're gonna, I don't know until we read it on the spot.
Okay.
On what that question may be. And then the panel gives their 2 cents and then we engage with everyone.
And have a good evening.
Have a good evening.
And that's every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Yeah. And what else you got going down at that
club? So tonight's ballroom. You want to learn how to ballroom? That's after work, 6 o'clock.
Really?
Yep. And Friday, it's Fish Fry Friday. So of course we're doing dinners. You come in and dine dinner, and we broadcast live on WZAK later on that night.
On Friday night.
Friday nights.
Okay.
Saturdays, fly Saturdays. There's bands that come in.
That's on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's something pretty much every day. Sunday, funny Sunday. So we bring in comedy. And the shows be off the hook. We definitely feature a lot of local comedians.
Anybody coming in this Sunday you want to talk about?
Yeah, we got a great show. I forgot who coming this Sunday. Please forgive me, but
no, don't worry about it.
It's this Sunday. It's on my Instagram, Sam Sylk with a Y. But yeah, it's real good. Every day is something going on.
No, you got something
going
on.
Line dance Monday and Wednesday. You like the line dance? Those nights are incredible. So you can do that. And we having some fun, man. It's a blessing to be able to do what we do. And we thank everybody for their continued support and hanging out with us. And yeah, man.
How many stores you have now?
We have 8 stores.
8 stores, man.
Yeah. And franchise out in Akron.
Akron, that's what she was talking about.
Yeah. He's in Akron, and Sylk's here. Sylk's is basically the sit down version of that.
So how big is the club in Mayfield? Maple Heights is pretty big.
Yeah, about 6,700 square feet or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'm gonna come check you out.
I'm gonna
definitely come check you out and see what you guys doing. Really proud. You got 8 stores, man. I mean, you did that really fast, man. God, how long have you been in business doing that?
You know what? It's coming up on 8 years.
Going on 8 years, so almost one a year.
Actually, February is when we did our soft opening.
Okay.
And so we opened up March 5th. There's nobody let me know if I'm saying it wrong. He was the 5th or the 3rd. That Friday in 2015.
Wow.
And yeah.
No, you're doing great, man. Any tips you want to leave to the entrepreneur out there?
Continue to the study is what you want. It's a lot of stuff I learned. Well, you're gonna learn a lot as you go, but make sure you do a lot of digging before you do it. You're gonna be scared. That's natural, but don't let the fear overtake you. And if you feel it, jump and go do it, man. And let me say this too. Let me say this to people. You need people. stop thinking because, you know, if you want to quit, quit your job, that's fine. Don't do it because you think that I don't need this. Mm-hmm. Know that you're going to need someone. Mm-hmm. You need people.
That's correct.
We need each other. Mm-hmm. Unless you just, do it by yourself. I get it. If it's just that one thing, but if you're going to take it to that next level, mm-hmm. know that, stars with great leadership.
Everybody needs somebody.
And it starts with you, and everybody needs somebody. Mm-hmm. So don't go into that thinking like me. Mm-hmm. I, as they say. What did you used to say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's no I in team. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, and make sure that you like I say, dive into what you do. Get you an accountant, get mm-hmm. you an attorney. Mm-hmm. And keep learning and have fun. It
ain't fun if you ain't having fun at it. It's work.
Have fun.
I really like doing what I do.
Yeah.
So I don't mind doing. My kids say, "Man, you work all the time." They see me, I'm working, and I literally do. I mean, and when working to me could be just me watching a podcast, learning more about what I'm doing. Yeah. That's still working. But they say you always. But I'm like, I like it. Yeah. If it was something I didn't want to do, I wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, just like radio. I mean, what did I say? I was playing around,
right. Right. No, you was true to it from the beginning. Yeah. You knew that's what you almost like a preacher kid. You was like, I'm gonna be a radio guy if I have to do my own damn show. Yeah. I mean, that's really true to knowing what you wanted to do in life, man, early. So that's kudos to that. Well, Sam, I'm going to let you close us out, man. You got that camera right there, man. You got it last minute. Anything you want to say to our millions and millions of subscribers and people that watch our show, man? I'm going to let you close us out.
Man, just trust God and always tell him thanks. Give him glory for it. I always got to say that and get that, man. That goes back to what we talk about entrepreneurs, but anybody watching. And follow me, social media. Mm-hmm. Social media, Sam Sylk with a Y, everything. Not an I, with a Y, and I'll come up on all your, even Black Planet. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, definitely follow me, get at me. Yep.
Excellent. Hey, I want to appreciate you. I'm going to put all Sam's links to in our description where you'll be able to follow him. Information on where you can get his book on relationship and those type of things will be in the description as well. And we'll put the locations of all his stores so that if you're interested in getting some chicken and waffles or want to line dance or want to learn how to do all of those other type of dance comedy shows, all of that, Sam got it going on. And we will see you on our next show.
This is Strategic Moves with Kenn Dowell.